I couldn't believe the two words that came out of my mouth. It made the most sense to tell him yes. I needed him. I wanted him. Those two words must have made something in him finally break. Erik simply ran his fingers down his vest and shirt, releasing the buttons and revealing his bare chest to me. I couldn't help but move one of my hands down his chest, running my fingers over the crevices of his muscles. A pleasured purr escaped his throat, making me shiver slightly. Erik let his vest and shirt slide down his arms onto the floor before cradling my head, his hands kissing me deeply. I felt the heat rise in my body, making me undo the tie underneath my collar and release the buttons on my own shirt. I would join him for a shower, then we head to bed together. Oh, we are showering together. Okay. Quickly, I removed my shirt and vest, making Erik stop kissing me and stare in slight surprise. I was simply in a bra, but I could feel a blush invade my cheeks. I don't know what it is about showering together, because if you're dirty and you're... whatever. A shy side began to fester in my mind. Did I really want this, to undress before a demon? No. This was the man I loved, and yet I felt my innocence drape over me in almost shame. As if he knew, Erik caressed my cheek, smiling at me before kissing each cheek and whispering in my ear.
You're beautiful.
Oh, stop it. Those two words broke my limitation. I gave in. I yielded to my desires. Oh! Lovely. Okay. Before I knew it, he and I were both surprised. Oh, my God. Surprised. Carly can't read today. He and I were both stripped of clothing and in a very nice warm shower together. When did the water turn on? The heat between our bodies simply added to the warmth, making the shower a very steamy one. It's a steamy shower. Okay, can I just mention real quick, the art for Erik's route, I feel like is slightly better than Sam's route. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just feel like it is. Whatever. They're both beautiful. Erik pulled me close, knowing I was still shy, and began to kiss my lips over and over. Each kiss was his promise to keep me safe, keep me comfortable, love me. Kept my arms wrapped around Erik, taking each kiss he gave before giving him my own kisses in return. I didn't know if it was the fact we were both naked, or maybe I just craved his touch, but I didn't want to let him go. The water ran over our bodies, cleansing our skins as we held on to each other like it was the end of the world. Even when Erik started to actually wash his body, and mine, our bodies constantly touched. So they're literally showering, okay. The fragrance of the soap engraved itself into my memory as I let him touch me and clean me. This is so weird. He was gentle and sweet, making sure to be attentive to every part of me. However, as he held me, I could slightly feel the shiver of his hands. Was he nervous? Was I his first? He wasn't going to show it. He wanted me to enjoy this moment, but was afraid of screwing up. His shivering hands showed me his emotions perfectly. Then my mind quickly made a realization. Were we really going to join in the shower? I imagined my first to be in bed. Same. I eventually pulled away from him after the last bit of soap was rinsed away from my skin. He looked at me, worried, but I smiled. Yes, girl. You need to be in a bed. Okay? Bed would be much more ideal than a shower. Not here. Thank you for reading my mind. Same girl, same. Alright, Erik stared for a brief moment before slightly smirking and nodding, gathering me back into his arms and kissing me. I felt the warm magic gather around our bodies and a slight pattern of running water vanished. I slowly opened my eyes to see Erik and I were no longer in the shower, but in my bedroom. Did he turn the water off? 'Cause you got bills to pay. We were both dry, but the heat and passion remained. Erik guided me to the bed as a purple tendril made sure my door was closed and locked. He laid me down and knelt over me. Erik smiled and finally embraced me as we both desired. Oh God. The pleasure between us would be heavenly if we go through it together. I closed my eyes and gave myself to Erik. I closed my eyes and gave myself to Erik. My body, my mind, my soul, it all belonged to him as he held me. His body, his mind, his soul, it all belonged to me as I gave in to his embrace. His kisses and fingers over my skin would forever engrave themselves into my memory as our passion rose higher through incredible heights. Our breaths and moans to each other equally sounded and echoed like a blissful chant we never wished to end. We kept moving, loving, feeling every inch of our bodies until we had had enough and I was enveloped in his embrace. Sorry, sound was turned off for a second. We kept moving, loving, feeling every inch of our bodies until we had had enough and I was enveloped in his embrace. Skin to skin, heartbeats matching, we held each other in the glow of the aftermath. Sorry, grabbing a sip of drink real quick. I nuzzled my head under Erik's chin as he held me close.
I love you so much.
I love you too. I love you too. Just to hear those words come out of Erik's mouth made my heart flutter. To hear me answer made my soul warm in glee. Carly cannot read. I could feel both of us sink into peaceful sleep together. It was the best sleep I had in days, and I was happy. I had love and I had my happiness. My life was simply perfect. When I opened my eyes, I found myself staring into Erik's bare chest. I blushed and then looked to see Erik still sleeping. His sleeping face made me giggle softly, but the reality of the situation made my heart flutter. I couldn't believe it. I was lying next to a man I had grown to love with all my heart. His warm embrace made me feel safe, and as the tender moment we shared replayed in my mind, I couldn't help but smile and snuggle into his chest further. Unconsciously, he held me tighter to his body, giving me more of his warmth. I didn't want to move, but then my core suddenly tightened and made me sit up without waking the man next to me. I felt my legs move and bring me to my balcony window, where I opened the glass and stepped onto the patio. Oh, I forgot she's still here. I stared wide-eyed at Diana, who sat cross-legged on the railing of my balcony with her glowing red-eyed stare upon me. I opened my mouth to object, but Diana stopped me.
Before you get all huffy, I didn't come here to take your precious man away. By the way, how was it exactly? Demons are the best lovers, after all.
I glared. What do you want, Diana?
Well, I just wanted to see how you truly feel. You know, without him around to influence you.
What are you talking about?
I'm giving you an opportunity to come clean about these feelings of yours and to give you your salvation.
What was Diana up to? This was beyond crazy. Nothing she had done made sense. Why was I still alive at this rate? What's keeping you from just killing me and taking them?
You are not worth my time.
Not worth your time? What are you, afraid something might happen? All at once, I felt my body being lifted into the air and moved over past the railing, leaving me with nothing but the ground below to threaten me with the collision death.
Oh, trust me, dear. I'm not afraid to kill you. I can drop you right now and leave your body to rot until the morning, when the boys would find you.
I wanted to speak, but the thought of her letting go and letting me fall to my death scared my voice into silence. Diana then chuckled and wheeled my body back to the balcony, setting me down gently.
Alas, if I kill you, then the boys would never come with me willingly back to the demon world, and then I'd have to chase them all around the world, or kill them and drag them back. But then their father wouldn't be happy, and blah, blah, blah. Too much work.
Diana seemed very business-oriented. As if the boys were cargo more than men. It irked me, but then she smiled.
I'm giving you one chance to denounce your love for the demon in your bed, and let me take him and the other boys back to the demon world.
And why, may I ask, would I do that?
There are so many reasons why, actually. There's the reason that he's a demon and you're a human, so you two can never truly have a happily ever after.
Yes, we can.
Then there's the reason that demons truly do not know how to love.
That's not true.
Despite what he may proclaim.
He said
The
again.
list goes on and on.
Grr.
The point is, if you give me the boys, I will promise you eternal happiness.
Erik can give me eternal happiness. Eternal happiness.
That's right. I have the power to give you anything you desire. Power, men,
No.
women,
No.
money,
No.
fame.
No.
Name it, and it's yours.
None of those things matter to me.
It never goes back on their word, and I have the power to obtain anything you wish. Our deal is our contract.
I can only stare in shock. This was a dream. It had to be. However, Dana smiled an almost genuine smile at me, shaking me to the reality of the situation. She would never smile like that.
Don't you wish to be free of your destiny? Your father constantly berating you to become the next CEO of your grandfather's company.
How did you... I was almost floored in surprise. How did Diana know all of this? She was a succubus, yes, but how could she know anything beyond sexual desire? She wasn't Damien. Diana chuckled and leaned back against her arms.
Just because I play with hearts and sex doesn't mean I don't know my way around the human mind. You happen to be an open book of information, but I digress. I can give you your freedom with ease. It'll be like you were always meant to have it. All I ask is that you hand over the boys. What do you say?
Was I seriously being given this choice? The man I loved for anything I wanted? A demon like Diana was power enough, yes. But did I even want to consider giving up the man I loved? No. She must have been crazier than I thought, I glared. Absolutely not. Diana sighed and stood up onto the railing. What I wasn't expecting was her lifting me into the air, as I tried to scream, but my voice suddenly became locked in silence. What was Diana doing? Diana made me float over to her, and she smirked as we touched noses.
Well, if I can't return home with the boys, I might as well return home with the power to fight back.
Diana finally leaned in and kissed me. I shut my eyes, feeling the need to bite her lips, but finding no muscles in my face listening to my mental commands. What did she do to me? Erik, why are you still asleep when this is happening? I didn't want to enjoy it, but every single nerve in my body was flaring in excitement and pleasure as she kissed me. I felt my energy drain slowly but forcefully from my body. Wouldn't they be able to sense my energy being drained? Plus, can Damien read my mind to figure out what the heck is going on? He's still in the house. Was she using her magic to force energy out of my body? Yes, honey, that's what she does. It seemed like forever, but finally Diana pulled away from the kiss with a smile and a lick of her lips. She lowered me back onto the patio and chuckled. For some reason, even though nothing seemed to have changed, she looked stronger, powerful. It was almost like she was a new Diana. Diana then stepped back off the railing, making me catch my breath in my throat. She took another step away from me. She looked to be simply walking on the night air. Diana smirked at my sudden surprise.
May you never regret your choice, human. If you do, I'll happily come and take it away.
With a flick of her hair, Diana turned and walked away into the night, fading into the darkness like a shadow. I watched her fade away before looking back to the man in my bed. Did I make the right choice? Yes. My heart gave a gentle thump, giving my answer. I did, and I'll never regret it for as long as I live. I walked back inside and gently crawled back into bed with the embrace of the safest arms I knew. I snuggled close to the warmth before closing my eyes. I was happy. The rest of the story can almost be passed over. With Diana gone, my life returned to normal, school and my friends not remembering what had happened. It was as if magic never even appeared in my world. One thing was for certain, though. Erik loved me and I loved him just as much. We promised our lives to each other with nothing was going to take that away from us, not even time itself. Our love was so powerful it practically overwhelmed me with joy every time I found him, holding me close every morning. To think, a demon in love with a human like me, it was unthinkable, unbelievable, practically impossible. But it was true. Then the boys decided to leave of their own accord. They knew that my future would only need Erik at my side, so they each decided to start their own lives in the human world. Erik understood perfectly and vowed to serve me well, wishing his brothers the best. Besides, Erik had someone new to care for now. His brothers didn't need to worry about him, now that he was caring for me. I felt bad as well for being closer to Erik than the others, but they reassured me that I was okay and that they would remain nearby should I ever need them. I was happy for that. They made me promise, however, that I would love Erik for as long as we lived. That promise was instantly given. But what of my future? It's kind of made for me. Before I graduated, James decided to step into the light of the Anderson Toys Company, and with the help of his demon powers and leadership charisma, he managed to influence not only the entire board, but my father as well into letting him run for CEO. I was beyond shocked. How James managed to do all that was beyond me. But when the vote was called, James had taken over the company, and I was destined to have. He vowed to respect the wishes of the late CEO and helped the company become even grander company. For a demon, it was simple to make a company grand. My grandfather would have been proud to see how James helped it shine. With the CEO position filled, my father had no choice but to let me decide my future, which made me happy beyond compare. No longer would I have the future scaring me into a corner. I could choose my life on my own. That being said, I was still scared of where the future was going to take me. What did I want to do? Did I want to help James build the company? Did I want to venture off on my own? Erik reassured me that he would support me and help me through whatever I decided to do. I was grateful and would never forget that promise. I was happy, and nothing could shake me down from that happiness. One evening, a good couple of years after the boys and I had met, I had a moment to myself. So I wandered my house and took in all that had happened as if it were a dream. To the demons, the devils, the magic, it was all surreal to believe. It almost frightened me to think that it could have all been a dream. But the warm feeling in my heart reminded me that it was real. The demons, the magic, the love I had, all real. I smiled and held my hands to my chest, relishing in the feelings dancing within my soul. I lit a happy sigh before looking up and seeing where I had wandered to. I was standing at the entrance to the backyard, and the door was slightly ajar. I peeked out to see Erik standing by the gazebo looking up at the moon and the sky. Ooh, that's pretty. I slowly opened the door and exited the house, walking towards the man who held my heart. Hearing the grass beneath my feet, Erik turned his head and smiled at me.
Good evening, princess.
I smiled and blushed a bit, moving to stand at Erik's side. What are you doing out here?
I'm merely making friends with the moon, my love.
I blushed deeper. Hearing Erik call me his love made my heart skip a beat. Erik chuckled, most likely being able to see the blush through the darkness of the night.
I wanted to see the night sky. The yard is one of the more perfect places to stargaze. Don't you agree?
Yeah. I found myself staring up at the sky as well. The stars all glimmered in the dark blue, almost pitch black sky. They all seemed to cast an entrancing spell on my eyes, not letting me look away. Not that I cared anyway. Erik gently wrapped an arm around my waist, pulling me close to him without breaking my stare at the sky.
I don't deserve you, you know.
I raised an eyebrow and looked at Erik confused. What did he mean? Erik simply stared at the sky, holding me gently to him.
You're much too wonderful to be loving a demon such as myself. As cliché as it may be, the beauty fell in love with a beast. A beast with an insatiable hunger for lust.
You're not a beast, Erik. Erik looked down at me in slight surprise. I turned my body to him and held his cheek gently in my hand, feeling him nuzzle gently into it and cradle it within his own hand. You're not a beast, nor will you ever be. You're Erik, and you're the man I want to love for the rest of my life. Demon or not, I love you. Erik stared, looking lost at what to say in my words. It was all true, though. He had his faults, sure, but who didn't? I enjoyed his company and adored every part of his personality. The mask he wore would slowly fade over time. Or maybe not. After all, his mask is part of who I fell in love with. Erik gently moved his hand and kissed my palm, closing his eyes and absorbing what I had said. He gently opened his eyes, partially staring past my hand.
Sometimes I forget that you're human. You entrance me better than any demon could. You're truly unbelievable. Are you real, or am I dreaming?
Yes, Erik, I'm real. I'm right here. Erik finally looked at me, a look of desperate need in his eyes. You're not dreaming. I gently guided Erik's face down with my hand and kissed him softly, reminding him of my touch and reaffirming my words. He stared at me as if his greatest wish had come true. I fought back a giggle at the sight. Erik gently pulled me to him, facing me to hug me in his chest. I nuzzled into Erik's chest, hearing his gentle heartbeat and memorizing its tempo.
You'll regret it. I promise you. You'll regret loving someone like me.
No, I won't. You underestimate me. Erik chuckled softly, the sound of his laughter sending happy waves down my spine. Oh, music. Hey. Erik smiled down at me and kissed the top of my head. My focus, however, traveled down to my hand, which had become gently held by Erik's. His thumb grazed over my ring finger where I could feel soft veins of energy tingle onto my skin. I watched as around my ring finger a small vine wrapped itself around and tied itself into a lovely ring. Oh my god. The ring held a beautiful purple flower with a red gem in the middle, glistening in the moonlight. Is this happening? Is this happening? I gasped a little before looking into Erik, who slightly smirked down at me.
See? I'm taking advantage of you already.
Erik. Oh my god. Erik gently moved his hand and cradled my cheek, replacing the smirk on his face and a tender smile that made my heart skip a beat.
I don't know what I did to deserve you, but I swear to love you till the end of days and beyond. You make me feel so complete. I can no longer imagine what I would do in life without you. Let me stay with you. I love you so much.
I could feel my heart going a million miles an hour. Was this truly happening? I'm asking that right now! Yes, it was. I felt it. I knew it. Okay. Out of pure happiness, I wrapped my arms around Erik and kissed him deeply. So did he just propose? Is that... I don't even know. Erik stood before holding me to him, kissing me deeply back, pouring all his love for me into that kiss. I did the same for him, not wanting to wake up. This was indeed a dream. I felt light as a feather, not wanting to ever let go of this man in my arms. There were no words that could describe the emotions within me. I felt joy, happiness, ecstatic, high all at once. Here I was, kissing the man I would be with forever under the beautiful moonlight of the night. I had gained the heart of a demon. No, of a man I loved. I vowed to cherish him and love him for the remainder of my days and beyond. Could a demon love a human forever? I knew Erik would. And that was my happily ever after. End. Alright guys, so that was Erik's route. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I am moving on to the next boy. And I'll see you guys later. Love you. Mwah. Bye.